like that on recording, then it would be like fishing for compliments. No, you look really nice. Yeah.
Okay, we are now streaming, so we are being recorded. So we're just starting the stream right now. Hi, everyone. Welcome to eLearnChat. We are just doing our pre-show right now. We're making sure everything's working. We have a new controller, and it's supposed to work across all the shows, so we do it. It works, and then the minute we got into a new show, the shots were different. And it's like, how can they be different? They're exactly the same on every show. But it's looking at them differently, so we had to fix this show real quickly because we started on a different show. But we're looking okay right now. It's this is a kind of cool controller from Akai. It's a MIDI controller, but it works really well for what we do. Nice little bright buttons. You can change to a million LED colors. It's kind of cool.
Just the thing for you.
Oh yeah, more toys.
More toys.
Actually, this is
going on there.
He can show you what we're doing right now. He can lift it up and show you that this is the controller.
Nice.
So that's our lit controller right there.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of buttons.
Is that Clark? I've never seen Clark.
You've never seen him? I guess not.
No, you never show me this shot.
No, we just set it up last week, or the week before.
Nice.
So that's what the actual studio looks like on that end. I'm at the back of, so I'm facing him right now. So I'm perpendicular to where he is, and we have a little window in the studio to the outside. That's for the gremlins to look at us. And it kind of reminds me of one of those old Star Trek shows with just people walking by, and you wonder, who are these people? And then you can see all the audio gear and the video gear. So I'm facing Clark right there, and then here is the camera and two lights, and then I've got a monitor right where I'm pointing, which is kind of that way.
Hey, do we want to test out broadcasting my screen? Because if I'm going to show 17, it would help to show some of the things.
Yeah, let's go to his full screenshot.
Nice.
And you should be able to share your Skype right now.
Okay, so plus share screens. And what does it show? That is not the right one.
Are you on a PC?
Yeah.
Is it communication, share my screen, I think, something like that?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. All right. So that'll be the sharing that okay. So I'll just have to go to that one. Okay, I can do that.
Are you guys using WordPress for your website?
Website, yeah, and the community.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go to WordPress too again. We were on it, and I'm pretty not too happy with Adobe Muse anymore, so I think I'm going back to WordPress, which is a real content manager.
It is, but the problem you can have is security on it. So it's we're going through a big lockdown phase on it right now for our community, because if you have put enough plugins on there, the problem with WordPress itself is fine.
Right.
It's secure, gets a lot of update. But all the plugins that are out there, if you use a lot of those, you have a problem with security.
That's true.
You gotta beware of the number of plugins you use.
Yeah, and not all of them are probably secure, right?
Oh, they're not. Definitely not. And there's a lot of free ones out there. And we found out we were using 19 different plugins on our community, 19? And they were not secure.
Wow.
And it's too much.
That's a lot of plugins. The community looks good, though.
Yeah. Well, we're going through a big change up on it right now. Just a lockdown. You won't see anything changing on the outside, but we're locking it down on the backside.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you don't want. There's so many nuts out there too on these websites that
there are.
We are streaming right now. That's true. We're talking about that. Yes, streaming. This is true, guys. If you've got a website, it's a lot of nuts out there. Yeah, and you don't always feel like it. Sometimes you just want mounds. You don't want an almond joy. So anyway, well, I think we're ready. Do you guys want to start?
All right.
Okay, so we're going to switch to this shot to start. Hello, Linda.
Hello.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to eLearnChat, where talk, it's knowledge. And today, we're going to be talking with one of our favorite people, a good friend. John Blackmon from Trivantis is on. He is the daddy of Lectora, if you don't know. And joining me is our co-host, another good friend, Linda Joy. Hey, Linda, how are you? How were your holidays?
Great. All my kids were here, so...
That's great.
I don't need anything more.
Linda, if you don't know, Linda has 3 very, very good boys, and they're all grown up, and they're all doing really good things. So That's good. I'm glad
Thanks.
for you. We've been on a break since about mid-December, so we haven't really talked too much, but we are ready to go. So let's start our show. We are back. Well, joining us today, he just popped in. Look at that. There he is. This is John Blackmon.
Like
He's the Chief Technology Officer for Trivantis, which includes Lectora, Lectora Online, CourseMill, a lot of other products and other things probably in the works that nobody knows about yet. John, how have you been?
Been good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And you guys were busy. You just came out with the new release of Lectora 17.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, 17, and reviewing 3.3 as well along with it. So a lot of things going on here.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. And 17's nice. You guys did a lot of work on it.
Yes. Yeah. I have plenty to show as well. I could actually, walk you through some of the things if you'd like to see them.
Sure.
Nice.
So what he's going to show us today is Lectora 17, the brand new release. What's it been, about 3 weeks?
Yes, came out in mid-December.
Well, it was really funny. I was doing a Lectora live show with Jennifer Valley, who's in charge of the community and also a Lectora developer. And she goes, well, it's going to be out soon. And as the show's going on, it was released that same moment.
Oh, how funny.
So we're going, it's going to be out
technically correct.
soon.
It
And
was
she goes,
soon.
I don't know, it's going to be really soon. And next thing you know, it's like it just came out.
Instant.
Want to switch him to his shot? Okay, here we are. So you've got the floor.
Yes, thank you. So really the first and biggest thing is what we call seamless play. So seamless play is kind of a player mode for Lectora, although Lectora truly doesn't have a player. But what we've done is change the way we publish such that content seamlessly flows from page to page. One of the best things about Lectora always was that Lectora produced individual HTML pages for each page. So we didn't have a problem having to load up the entire title all at once. Everything loaded just as you need it, just in time. We also were able to dispose of each page was its own memory constraint page, so there was never a problem in running out of memory. So we wanted to preserve that, but still give the idea of a complete seamless flow from page to page. So we came up with the concept we called seamless play. So what we actually do is we load behind the covers, we just load the next sequential page and have it ready to go, such that when you click on that, the next page can just flow in. We don't actually change things you would sometimes see people refer to as the white flash or the big
right.
flash between pages.
Nice.
All that's gone. So for a sample of what we're talking about there, I have my favorite Bacon Ipsum course, which is here. Well, this just shows a little bit of Bacon Ipsum is what I always use for any time I have nonsense content. It's very nice stuff. So here we have, this could be a standard e-learning course. In this case, it's not, but it could be. And you have your standard framework around the side. So when you switch pages, and hopefully this comes out well on the Skype, you'll see that it doesn't have to reload the framework. It doesn't have to reload the back and next and forward buttons because those are already loaded. So just the content inside. And don't know if it's coming across, but there's a little fade transition that goes upon each one. You can also set other transitions. So you could actually wipe between pages. And so you do a wipe, but
There you go.
you don't have to go through a flash. And you could actually even go through and do something a little crazier that wipes back and forth across the screen. So you can set up these different things and have it work kind of a much more interesting manner, but a much smoother. It feels like the course is just smoothly flowing from page to page rather than before a hard switch. We're still producing separate HTML pages. You still get all those advantages, but we're loading them up under the cover and then just kind of bringing them in onto the page.
And the weird thing about that is in some browsers it worked way better than in others, and you just never knew. That's the problem with the browsers, the way they interpret everything.
Right. Because when you're actually switching the HTML
nice.
page, they would flash white between pages. Some would, some wouldn't. So we've just kind of gotten rid of that whole problem with the new seamless play option. So Good stuff there. Very good stuff there. The other thing that seamless play now gives us, because we actually don't switch pages, it's staying on the same page, we're just loading and unloading content from the page. We actually have auto start of audio, and this is big. This changes really what you can do. So in mobile devices, even though we would put audio or video to auto start so that you could narrate a page, do things like that, mobile devices didn't actually recognize that, so they wouldn't allow for auto start of audio. So now when you have Publisher Seamless Play, audio will auto start on a page. So if you have a narrated page, you don't have to hit play on it on your phone or tablet device. It'll just auto start on there. It's not that the phones and tablets still don't allow auto start. It still doesn't work, but we've got kind of a workaround in there that enables that to work since we don't switch pages. So you can now do that. We capture the first button down that you use, the first button you use, and then use that. We hold on to it through the entire play of the course and use that to automatically play audio and video along the way. So you can have auto start audio and video on your mobile devices.
That's clever.
Very big thing.
Very nice.
Yeah, it changes what you can do. You can actually create narrated things for the phone, whereas before you really couldn't have narrated things on the phone because it was HTML.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Another big one is branch track. So, not sure how familiar everyone is with branch track, but it's a scenario builder. So, very cool scenario builder. So, what it allows you to do is create scenarios that you can have interactions with seems like a kind of a live person, and it's probably best to show it rather than to explain it, what a scenario builder is. So I have a branch track scenario that I can bring up here. And this is a built-out scenario in branch track. So here we have a customer situation. So we're going to simulate, in this case, a customer situation. So we have a customer here, and you have to choose conversation options. So we'll go through and let's go into it. So the customer comes in, gives us some information. Hey, you'd like to speak to someone regarding a credit card bill. You have options of how you can reply. So this is your scenario. So it's kind of judge you on how well you do. So what do you think we should say here? How should we handle this situation that we have? Rick, what do you think?
Go ahead, Linda.
Linda, you're up. Come on,
good day, how are you? I'm doing great, thank you. No, I have to ask you. Good day. How are you?
Okay, let's try it. See how you did. Well, now the customer has a problem. Are we still going to put Linda on the spot here? This is important.
Yeah, let's keep Linda going through it. This is good.
All right, Linda, you're on
Let's see how she handles that customer.
All right.
To use the card. When I applied,
It's here I see. You thought you
may I have a look at your statement?
All right. So let's see how you did. Okay. So she looks. See, now she's gotten happier. She's getting a little happier. She's back to normal. She was confused before.
You're doing great, Linda.
Yeah, you're doing good so far. So she says, of course, I'm sure there's been some misunderstanding. So we have no choices here. So your statement indicates those charges for a number of overseas transactions. Have you been abroad recently? So we're asking that. Okay, she spent the summer in France. So now you have two options.
There seems to be a problem. I'll do the second one. It's a bit fuzzy on my screen and difficult to read.
The first one says your credit card contract states that all transactions have a fee. It says we do have other cards that are free to use abroad, but they're more expensive.
Oh,
do you travel
I'll take
a lot?
that one. Yeah,
Take that
I'll
one.
answer
Okay.
that one. Mm-hmm.
Good choice. She's still happy. She does travel a lot, and it looks like it costs more than she expected. So you can say, would you like to register for a different card, or would you like to upgrade to a card that has zero fees even abroad and also includes travel insurance?
Upgrade.
Oh, that sounds like an idea. She's getting happier. She says, sounds nice. You tell her to fill out the form, and
please fill out.
You've done good. She's happy. You've done well. So that's an example of a scenario simulation. It's great for on-the-job training, for training your customer service representatives, things like that. That's just obviously one example of a scenario. And now, with Lectora, you actually have that built right into the interface of Lectora. So just by clicking on a tab on the right-hand side of Lectora, you can load up branch track. And so branch track is over here, and we can then load that up if we want to go ahead. This is one called fire safety. This is just giving an example of how it works. So in fire safety, we have a branching. This is actually kind of a fairly complex. I'll shrink it down. It just shows all the paths you can take through this fire safety course. So you actually just work on it by building out these cards. And here's an example of cards. You put in a question, and then you put in your choices. And on each of these choices, you actually go through and just drag and link which one it's going to go to. Mm-hmm. So that's how you actually operate. So it's actually really simple to use once you get in there. Cancel link.
It's if-then. Very much if-then as opposed to linear.
Right. And then you can branch out anywhere depending on what you answer. You link out to another one. So you can just add new links or delete links. This is how you set your character that it's going to be. So it's actually a very cool way to create this scenario simulation. Something very interesting. And then it's embed it right in. Best part is it now comes free with Lectora. Kind of a very cool way to do things with Lectora. So with Lectora Inspire. So that's branch track. Kind
John,
of a new feature, and something.
Previous guest had a branch track that had, I think, 250.
Really? Wow. So yeah, I mean,
it was huge.
You can go to any level. Yeah, you can go to any level. Was that Sergey by any chance?
No, that was oh my gosh, her name is slipping right now. She's in Michigan. I know her well.
Lori.
No, not Lori. Oh darn. Name just slipped. I can picture her perfectly.
Was it on eLearnChat?
No, that was on Lectora Live.
Oh.
And she had literally 200 something icons. Her name?
Wow. But
what?
Now, of course, she put in
Erwin.
all the questions, didn't she? And the answers.
Yeah, last name was Erwin. And I'm trying to remember her first name now. I can't believe I can't remember this.
Oh, that's all right.
She's great. But anyway, she did almost 200 something 50. It was huge.
Well, because it's really actually not complicated to do. Just you type in your question, a few responses, drag those responses to other ones, and you just branch around, and then it gives you way. And then each one you can set the mood, as you saw, that you can see progressively if the person's getting happier or less happy as you're doing it. So you kind of know if you're going right or wrong.
That's true.
It's pretty interesting.
And I'll do a little
that's
plug.
So nice for the user to kind of get a feel for, oh my goodness, where is this conversation going?
Right,
exactly.
And I'll do a little plug. We are actually a reseller for Branch Track. So this is the basic version, but I believe there's a more advanced version you can upgrade to, right?
Absolutely. So this gives you 5 scenarios that you can then use. And so if you need to go through more than 5, you can upgrade. You can also, when you get the more advanced version, I believe you can upload your own images and different things like that as well. So certainly something you can upgrade to. If you find it to be a big part of your business, which I think a lot of people will, you can certainly upgrade and go to the professional version.
It's a good tool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think it's one of those things, if you get started with Branch Track, you cannot imagine going back and not using it anymore.
Right, exactly. Because it changes what you can do on your screen. So if you imagine any time you have a customer service representative type situation, you can do so much more with a Branch Track than you could without. I mean, you can create some of that with Lectora, but you'd have to go through a lot more work to do.
Mm-hmm.
And another good point is that's actually been integrated with Lectora such that you can add some Lectora features onto Branch Track. So the big one, of course, is on done playing, such that when I get done, so we just played that other scenario a moment ago, and we were done. It got done. Well, Lectora will actually know that that's done, so you can then branch. You can do something within Lectora when it's done. You also get a score. Yeah, you get a score from that, and you can also reset that. So if a user fails, they do something wrong, you can then, if they want to, you can let them do it again. Give it another try.
Or depending on the kind of branch you have, you could have one branch that kind of sets the tone, and if you don't do well on it, it can take you to a different branch that teaches you something. And then since you have total control of where you're going with it, it's actually pretty powerful to create very realistic scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, moving on to some more goodies. So in this version, we also have the latest Camtasia and Snagit. As you know, we partner with TechSmith as well. So for Inspire, we've upgraded to the new Camtasia and Snagit, and they're quite updated and quite new. A lot of new things you get, zoom, pan effects, things like that. It's very cool. I've been enjoying them myself. I'm completely addicted to all their tools, so I like them as well. This is a cool one that lets you do a lot. It's called Anchor Position. I think it's been referred to as a fixed position, a lot of different things, but we now call it Anchor Position. So what this is a property really in Lectora. It's very simple in Lectora, but very powerful when you figure out what you can do with it. So just on the position and size, you have a new property here called Anchor Position at the top. You can just check that, and that will be anchored. What that means is it's not going to move in response to a scroll. So this actually can be very important for things like mobile courses or courses that have long content in them. So I have an example of a course here. This is a course on learning how to tie a tie. And the pages are all very long. But when the page scrolls, you don't want to have to lose your navigation. Your navigation is all here at the top, right? So what I've done is I've actually selected Anchor on all of these pieces on the side and my menu and so forth. So as I scroll down the page, you can see that the content scrolls, but my navigation doesn't scroll. This is something similar to what's known as parallax scrolling. Now, the cool thing is you can anchor things above or below. I don't really have an example of it, but you could anchor something below content and then have a transparent area and actually have things scroll over top of it, around it, all kinds of, I mean, so there's really, you can actually get pretty creative with this feature. It's a neat way to set up your page, but allows you to anchor things such as your navigation. Good for mobile devices. So imagine you have your phone and you're scrolling on pages. Most of your pages are longer than your phone. So if you're scrolling on that page, you'll be able to anchor the navigation so you can switch to the next page very simply no matter where you are on the page.
And you actually can't wear ties in Florida. It's too hot.
I can't. I'm certainly not wearing one right now.
No.
And of course, this is all responsive. So you build
Absolutely.
it, and then for the mobile, it'll be different.
Did I build this? I don't think I built this one responsive. No, I didn't build this one. Yes, but yes, you build it for the mobile, and then you get it responsive. Absolutely. So yeah. All right. So some other improvements. So there's just some smaller things that we have in here. We've added disable states to custom buttons, so now you have a new state. A few other button properties. Buttons can also be any shape, and you can actually change the shape of buttons. This is a big one, kind of under the covers. It probably will not come out very well on this over this presentation, but buttons are now rendered as SVG. So what is SVG is the usual question that comes after that. SVG is scalable vector graphics. It is a vector representation. So if you have a very high-res phone, that phone will render graphics at a much higher resolution than they do at things like your PC or your laptop. So when you have a button such as this that has curved corners and things like that, it'll actually get kind of choppy when it's rendered on a phone with very high resolution. And I'll try to show that. Let's go switch over that page. This is that same presentation, but in run mode, so we'll switch over to it. All right, so if you in Lectora 16, these are the way buttons are rendering. So I don't know if it's coming across, but you see very choppy at the edges, very choppy at the edges. But in Lectora 17, those edges are completely smooth and rounded. So I don't know if that comes across very well, but you will definitely see the difference when you load it up. Without making any changes, having to do anything, suddenly things just look crisper, sharper, and better for you along the way. And also, very key is the number of shapes. Because we're now using vector, we no longer need to produce multiple versions of a file for those different resolutions. So here's an example of what we would produce for a course with a number of buttons in it for. With Lectora 17, we now produce these shapes only. So this is a much smaller set that we actually have to produce. And these are actually only used when you load it in IE 8 and 9. So because they don't support the SVG format. So then that you would get. So that's what all those are there for. Other than that, they load extremely fast. SVG format is very small, very light. So.
And if you're wondering what John was talking about phones being high resolution, you always hear about retinal displays or retina displays. That's nothing more than 300 pixels per inch. That's a lot of pixels in a small area. And that's why most of these monitors, no matter how good they are like 150, 200. You rarely get anywhere past that. You can buy retina monitors, but they're super expensive still. And that's why on a phone, things don't look as nice because they're much higher resolution. So these vector graphics really make it nice. And, it's funny, we always deal with a lot of graphic people and stuff, and it's still actually amazing how many people don't know what a vector graphic is versus the raster graphics like a PNG or a JPEG. Vectors are mathematically calculated, which is why they're perfect.
And they scale to any size and don't lose any resolution.
No, they're beautiful.
Yeah. It makes a huge difference in what you see.
Now, do you think the SVGs are coming back? I mean, they've been around for a long time, but they've never really been used much.
Well, they weren't used much because they didn't have a lot of love from the browser vendors, specifically Microsoft. They didn't really get it right till IE 10. So they didn't have it until IE 9, and then it was so buggy in IE 9 it couldn't be used. And so in IE 10 they finally got it right, and so from then on SVG support was in. And now that the browsers have shifted really to there, that's why we've put the support in here.
Yep.
Because now the browsers really have shifted. Most people have an SVG capable browser. All of the mobile devices are SVG capable.
Yep.
And all. So it really just took Microsoft to get on board is what it really took to get things moving into SVG.
In other words, get out of the way, Microsoft. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't say that.
No, you didn't. I didn't.
Oh. All right, a few more things, just to roll on a few things. With video, we're now able to maintain the aspect ratio, so instead of allowing you to, well, we do allow you to if you really want to, but you have to really do it on purpose to warp the aspect of a video, very, very important. We've improved closed captioning. We support multiple different closed captioning formats now and allow you to turn it on and off, and if you turn it off on page 1 of the test, or page 1 of the course, it'll be off throughout the rest of the course. This is dealing again with seamless play because we're really still on the same page. We kind of know that you turned it off at one part. A lot of good things that you get with the captioning now. You'll also be able to set whether it's on or off initially. So on publish, you can say I want my captions on immediately because I know we want captions, or I don't want it on unless the user wants to turn it on. Okay. So kind of a big thing.
That's part of the 508 compliance, right?
Yes, absolutely. Very important to have. CSV question handling. This is for people importing large banks of questions in. We now support all of the different question types. So you can just use Excel or Google Sheets to create a regular Excel file and export it as CSV, which is comma-separated values. Yeah. And that will allow you to edit your questions in Excel and then pull them into Lectora. So
that can save a lot of time.
Oh, it does. And a lot of companies keep these large question banks out there, and then just pull in ones as they need it. And those question banks are edited by the content experts, and then the people creating the courses just pull them in. So
that's cool.
Yeah. That's a big one. That's a very big one.
Not that we all don't love creating questions, but
well, yes, of course. And then the kind of cool one is ReviewLink. So ReviewLink is something that you get along with Lectora, both Publisher and Inspire, and has a very, very cool feature this time, which I will show you. So ReviewLink actually has what we call markup. So if I am editing a file, so in this case I have ReviewLink up and I am editing a file. For those of you not familiar with ReviewLink, it's a course review utility that allows you to enter comments, or allows you to assign as many reviewers as you'd like and have all those reviewers enter comments on your course and go through. And it actually formalizes the entire review process. Very cool. But now you can actually use markup. So in addition to comments, you can still enter in a comment list just like you used to, but you can also now actually draw on the screen. So we have the screen as it is. You have several tools, a highlighter, a pencil, arrows, circles, and then you can draw on the screen. So if I say, okay, this is the text that I'm referring to, you can actually highlight the text that you want to refer to, or if you want to, you can circle an area of the screen. You can set a lot of options there as far as your line thickness. You can set colors of your circles, things like that. Arrows, if I want to say, oh, it's this thing over here that I'm actually pointing to. You definitely can make sure that they know what you're pointing to because you can point to it while you're there.
That is great. So that is only during the review?
Yes, during the review process. Yes, we don't let students do this to your courses. It's probably not. This is for people reviewing your course, giving you information so that you would then take that and save that, and that would become attached to your course as a markup thread.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and you can add, comments and physical comments, type some things in there if you're adding. So this page is not right, this is misspelled, things like that, but also now allow you to mark up on the page as well. So that's kind of a really big feature. People have been pretty excited about that one because it really lets you say what you mean to say and show what you want to show.
Right, whereas a lot of the review programs originally just let you put text in, but you weren't really able to delineate exactly what you were talking about, so this is really a lot more helpful.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, and something I was supposed to mention before, I forgot to mention. For the CSV, we're actually having, for anyone who wants to know about that, on Wednesday, January 18th, next Wednesday, we're going to be having an Inspiration Wednesday on that, so you can actually go check that out and learn about how to import your questions in. Kind of good stuff.
Who's doing that one?
I think that's Daryl.
Daryl, okay.
Daryl will be there. Yeah.
Daryl Faleri, he's fun. Go yes. Watch that. He's very good.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely won't ever get bored. He keeps it lively. And the other thing I wanted to mention was the Lectora User Conference. We're also getting that going. That'll be this May 3rd and 4th, 2017, in the hometown of our company, Cincinnati, Ohio. So we're going back to Cincinnati.
Sounds good. We'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is my spiel on Lectora 17. How'd you like it?
It was good. Very good.
Great.
And there's
Love
more.
it.
He covered some of the big features, but there's a lot of other things too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Many other things.
I noticed some
there's-
instant things even on the ribbons. They were different. They were cleaner. Just everything. A lot of little tweaks.
Right. Every large revision always gets those little tweaks along the way. Try to keep up with things.
Yep.
It all makes so much sense. It's really great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're quite proud of it.
What made you? Was this client input? Was this different people working with Lectora? How did you come up with what you're going to change?
Well, in this case, there was actually the big aha moment of realizing that the importance of seamless play. So, we had been, we had known about what was referred to as the white flash for quite a long time. But when switching pages, but it was it was kind of a feature of Lectora because we did actually produce separate HTML pages. A lot of the other tools use what's called a player, but it's truly a player. They have to load the entire set of contents in, uses a lot of memory. It's not really a good way to do things, and so we always had shied away from that. But then it was kind of the aha moment when we realized that we really needed, in order to have the material show very well, you really did need a way, even if it wasn't using that same player concept, we needed a way to do it. So we actually sat down and buckled down and tried to find a way to still produce separate HTML pages, but get that same look and feel. So it actually took a lot of research on how we were going to go about that and to be able to support it across multiple browsers. And then that enables us to do things like the autoplay of audio. It enables us to do things like fixed position. So it was certainly an aha moment.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Those are good things.
It was
So
good
what do you
stuff.
see in the future for e-learning? What's coming up that you can kind of put your little Carsoni cap on and go, what's a trend right now?
Well, the trend right now is your trend, is video, and so I think a lot of what you're going to see is video overlay, scenario branching within video. So think of branch track, but going to different video segments along the way. There's a lot of that going on, and so that's a lot of what we're looking into. There's, everything moving to the cloud. I mean, right now we're showing Lectora Desktop, but Lectora Online is getting is growing quite a lot. A lot of companies are moving to that because people are working in collaborative environments. I mean, you're having teams come on and work on it. So that's kind of key.
Yeah,
having a collaborative tool.
And today, I mean, you guys have all your developers, I think, in-house, which is great. I mean, you have a great team, all local, but it's really hard to find people everywhere. I mean, where you are. I mean, we have, our team is mostly really remote. We have a core group of maybe 5 or 8 here, and everybody else is remote. And you just go, It's times have changed. You find people where you can because they're not always where you need them.
Absolutely, right. And that's exactly what the cloud solves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. Are you guys using Amazon S3 by any chance?
Yes, EC2, right? So it's it's all on Amazon, all hosted on Amazon. The storage, the backup storage is on S3, but yeah, absolutely, and that affords you a lot of things having that up in the cloud. Your bandwidth is basically unlimited. You have great availability, good reliability, security, things like that. So
I read the other day that Amazon, as of that article, which is sometime I think last year, has 1.5 million servers. That's not including the NAS storage. That's just
Amazing.
the servers. Then we're not even talking how many storage devices each of those controls, and that's over about 5 or 6 data centers worldwide. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, and I easily believe, and growing. I bet that's growing at a huge rate too, because people are moving there so fast.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's pretty.
And collaborative work has just become so easy. You don't have to wait till somebody saves. It's there.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and that's the key. That's absolutely the key.
It's pretty quick. I always I just get happy about this, but when we just moved to our new offices, and our bandwidth right now, we're using FiOS, and we're at 500, and soon they're going to be offering.
I'm a little jealous right now.
I know it's really good bandwidth, and they're going to be offering 1 gigabit soon for about $750. I'm going. That's it? Oh my gosh! We were paying 3.5 years ago. We were paying about that much for a T1 line, which had like 1.5 megabits. And
we had
so,
a T1 also.
Oh, you're kidding!
Crazy.
You guys don't have any FiOS where you are?
Had a T1, not anymore. We're fiber right to the.
Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Channel, yeah.
Fiber is all the difference in the world. We were on 300 for the last 3 years, and we just went to 500, and we're just sitting here going, I can't believe we have 500. This is amazing. And it's fast. We do notice the speed, especially when you watch something like YouTube. It's like you get that slow when YouTube launches, and it's like instant. Everything's in. You can go to any part of any video on YouTube, and it's instant. You just go, that's fast. Wow. You're
just making us all jealous here, Rick.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
So now you have to go to your local providers and go, I want what Rick wants. It's not fair.
There you go.
No, I'm just surprised. Like I said, for the better part of 20 years, we had a T1. That's all they had in this area. It was awful. It was absolutely awful.
Yeah, everyone was in the same boat. We had, for many years, we just had a T1, and we paid $1,500 for that T1.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
and we were happy to have it.
Yeah, it was like amazing until all of a sudden everything went to the internet. Then a T1 was like, oh no. I just watched a YouTube video that was 5 minutes long. How long did it take? 2 hours?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the good old days. Well, John, appreciate you coming on and sharing some of Lectora 17 with us. And I know we've played with it already. We've actually started doing some projects in it. It's been working beautifully. So kudos to you and your team. As always, good work.
Thank you.
And I have to quote both of you before we're finished. You don't just think outside of the box, you think inside of the grid.
Inside the grid.
There you go.
You must have watched one of those shows the other day, one of the older shows.
That's our catchphrase. We have a catchphrase. This is good.
We do. Oh, you guys do.
Yeah. We lost the box, but there's a grid that got left behind, and it's better. Yeah. You guys were patenting that, I think you said last time.
Yeah. Well, it's still patent pen. Those things take forever. But
they do, but it was a great design. It's very creative the way you guys did that whole thing. I mean, nobody really does that kind of responsive the way you did. It's really cool. Very different.
Yeah, it's very geared to e-learning. I mean, it's just it's the right thing for e-learning. It's not the right thing for everything, but it is the right way to do it for e-learning, and so it's really worked out well for us.
It does, and it's easy. It's not that hard. I mean, most people think, "Oh my God, how much work do I have to do?" It's not that much. It's pretty clever.
Yeah, thank you.
Very, very clever. Well, we expect to see all of you. I think it's May 3rd and 4th. I think, if I'm not wrong.
May 3rd and 4th.
May 3rd and 4th. That's the Lectora User Conference, and it's in Cincinnati. It's pretty. I've been out there. It's really pretty. And there's some nice areas all around that. I think you land in Kentucky, and then you wind up across the river. You're in now Cincinnati. It's interesting because the Cincinnati airport's actually in Kentucky, and it's a cute airport. So be there. It's fun. We went last year. We had a really good time. Everybody was great to work with. You'll get to meet. I don't know how many people you're going to bring this time because last time it was in Fort Lauderdale, which is very close to their development offices, but there were a lot of developers there, and it was a blast. One of the things I heard the most was people loved talking to them and getting their questions solved. That was great.
Yeah, that's really one of the big things about it is we too try to bring up as many developers as possible because you get a chance to meet everybody that you don't normally meet. I mean, behind the scenes guys, but the guys that can always answer the questions. And
that was precious. From everybody I heard, that was precious. Everybody just enjoyed that, and the developers are good guys. They're really. It's a fun group of people. They're bright. They're passionate. So it kind of rubs off, and that's great. This man right next to me over here, he was sick as a dog. Yeah.
Those kind of conversations are just as important as lectures.
They are. And Mr. John over here was sick as a dog doing his presentation. Nobody even could tell. He slowed down about 1 mile an hour from his normal 90. Everybody's going, he was sick? Really?
Yeah, I was too.
And my wife, Leslie, she was in the class and she goes, he didn't look sick. He just went faster.
I had a lot of material to cover in that class.
Yeah, so he just went faster, and that kind of got you out about an hour early so you could breathe. But no, that was great. No, everybody loved it. And your team, honestly, there's some of the best guys around. It was really fun getting to know some of them personally, and it's precious. Let me put it to you that way. So it was a good experience and good friendships made. So we really enjoyed it. So be there. It's a good trip. It's climate's nice that time of year.
True. Actually, it's very nice in Cincinnati at that time. Yeah.
It is. It's pleasant. That May. Yeah, that's before it gets hot or anything. So that'll be very pleasant.
Perfect.
Well, anyway, John, appreciate you coming on again. Good luck with version 17 and Review Link and all the other stuff you're doing. And we will see you next time. I'll definitely see you in May. And maybe I'll see you at Learning Solutions. We may go out there. And,
all right.
And Linda, as always, a pleasure to see you too. And if you're watching the show, please subscribe. Give us your feedback. And there'll be show notes of how to get a hold of John or take a look at the Trivantis products. So we'll see you next week. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.